Hi, I'm Suzanne McNeil with Design Originals, and today I'm going to experiment with a Zentangle bird using all the tangles in the bird. I'm going to interpret a bird in Zentangle, and so the first thing I normally do is I'll do out some sketches. Now, I've drawn a lot of birds, so I do have a clue, sort of the basic structure. You might see they all have similar heads, similar wing shape, similar body shape. The basic difference is how fat or skinny they are or what the tail looks like. So for today, I do like this plump one. He sort of looks like a little furry pigeon, but I think I like the streamlined one today. So I'm going to take my pencil, and now that I've chosen the basic shape, I'm going to, do a little basic head, a little basic body with an oval. I hope you can see those. I want to do my pencil light so I don't have to erase the lines later on. They'll just fade away. And now his little beak, his eyelid, his eye, and now the shape of the basic shape of the head. Going to add the wings, sort of like an upside down teardrop to me, and maybe the other wing in the background. And now I'm going to bring his body around. I liked that tail that had some, like a swallow tail. So there's my basic bird. I think I'm happy with that. I could erase it if I needed to, different areas, but I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to choose my tangles to go in my bird. And I've designed a lot of tangles. Each one of my books actually has 40 different tangles in it. Now this is the index, so these are the 40 tangles in this particular book. But inside of the book are the step outs to those tangles. So you can see how simple it is to create this difficult looking pattern. You just start with little dots. So each of the tangles has the step out patterns. And then here's another book. This is based on the Zentangle. And again, we have lots of samples. We have the step outs for the tangles all throughout the book. And then in the back, we have 40 new tangles. So each one of my books has 40 brand new tangles in it. So I'm just going to sort of refer to the tangles in this book. So let me just divide my bird. You know, when we do Zentangle, we like to divide them into sections. So I already have a nice section here at his neck. Maybe I want to add another section. Maybe I want to do a second section on his wings. And then his tail. Maybe I'll do his tail a little thinner right there. I think I like that even better than that fat tail. So there will be that section. So I'm just going to start by choosing a tangle out of the book that I like. And for his head, I really sort of think that I like this tangle right here. So I'm going to turn my paper so that it's comfortable for me to work with that. So I know I've already practiced this tangle. So I know the basic steps to it. So there we go with our parallel lines. And now I'm going to bring this up. Make these sort of little leaf type shapes. You can either do them straight or curved, whichever you feel like fits your space better. So that's really, I need to add his eye here. I don't want to lose out on his eye and his eyelid. Have to save space for that. And now another one of the little leaf shapes. You know, that's one of the really good things about Zentangle is there really are no mistakes. You might draw an extra line, or you might make a curved line where I might make a straight line, but it's all changeable, and all of the tangles in the books are simply a guideline for where to start. So one side of the leaf is dark, then these are the left-hand side of the leaf, so I'll need to color these dark also. And then the right-hand side of all the leaves. In the book, I have suggested just doing little lines to separate them from the background. So now that I'm finished with his head, I can go ahead and do his beak. And there we are. So now I'm going to work on his neck, and I'm going to choose another tangle for his neck. So I think I'm going to use this one right here. So this one actually is somewhat similar to the one we just did. It's parallel lines, but instead of the little curved leaf shapes, I'm going to do rice shapes facing this direction on this side. Now it's easier for me if I turn my paper to do the rice shape facing the other direction on the other side. So again, I'm going to color one side in black, and then this time the other side has little veins in it. So to me, Zentangle is so relaxing. I can just work on a lap board at night while I'm watching TV. Now I'm going to fill in his wing here. So I'm going to choose this tangle right here, this ocean spray. So I'm just creating a wavy line. To begin, I'm going to be doing the same tangle in this section. So now on this wavy line, one spray goes this way, another spray goes this way, left, right, left, right, left wave, right wave, left wave, right wave. I'm going to come back and catch this one that I missed. Same thing on this side. Wave going one way, wave going the other way until I reach the end of the wing. And now I'm going to, this is an 01 micron pen, but I also happen to have an 08 micron pen. What this one does, it has a thicker nib, so it will fill in these spaces much faster. I can almost do it with one stroke on this size of space. I'm just filling those in to draw attention to the outline of the wing. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work inside of the wings, so I'll need to choose a tangle for that area. There we go. So inside of the wings, well, I'm very attracted to this one right here. This one's called Pinball. So I can take Pinball, and it's sort of nice right next to this ocean waves because I can nest it into those curves. So it's two lines really close together. Another line that's a little farther apart. Another line really close together. Another line farther apart, close together, farther apart, close together. And then in here, going to connect these two lines with a slight curve. I just want to repeat those lines. You know, Zentangle is an amazing process. So many people have told me that they never thought they could draw, or maybe they had a teacher in school who told them they couldn't draw. But through Zentangle, they've developed their drawing skills by just drawing these simple patterns. You know, Zentangle is sort of like your handwriting when you first went to school. You probably didn't know how to write cursive yet, but through practice, everyone learned how to write cursive. And even though we use the same textbook, no one writes exactly the same. So now I've completed that area, and in this section I'm going to use my larger pen because I'm going to put black dots in here. So I have a series of patterns. It's giving him a lot of personality and character. Okay, so I'm through with this wing. I'm going to work on his body next. And so it's such a large space, I could divide it up if I wanted to, but I sort of like it being large. So I think I'm going to use this tangle right here. This is called Chatter. So basic, I'm going to do mine on a curve. So basic instead of straight. So basically, I have parallel lines, again, fairly far apart. One more here. And then on those parallel lines, I'm going to make rice shapes. Just connect them with those lines down the center. This is an easy tangle. And one of the reasons I chose this tangle for this area is because his head is so nice and dark, but this creates a lighter tangled area. So I hope you think my rice shapes are all exactly the same size, but if you look carefully, they're not. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the next row. I'm just repeating those. I notice that I get more even rice shapes if I'll always pull my pen toward me. So I start here, pull toward me. Start here, pull toward me. Pull, 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 pull. And for some reason that helps my hand keep the rice the same size. And when you're really in the Zentangle zone, you're sort of in a meditative state. You're so focused on doing these repetitious patterns that it's sort of like being in a meditative state. You're just focusing on this and not really thinking about other issues. Here on his tummy, I'm just doing one side of the rice. Continue, and then there's a little dot right in here, and that ties those together. So I'm going to go down each row adding a small dot. Keep on going. All right, looking pretty good. It seems to me that it would be nice if his wings were a little darker. So I'm going to take my big pen again, and I'm going to fill in this area. The original tangle was not filled in this area, but I just think in this particular design that that's going to be a better look. So all of the tangles are You know, they're just a start, so on any of them you're welcome to add your own touch, more lines, dark, light, shading, to make them your own. In fact, I have drawn things before where I actually put a mark in the wrong place, but that was okay, because as long as I added that same mark in the same wrong place everywhere, it became the right place, and as long as the tangle was repetitious. That is what it was supposed to accomplish. So I'm going to leave the wing in the back light, because I like it light back there. It helps draw attention away from this one. So I don't always outline my tangles, but I think that wing looks a little better with that outline around there. Okay, so now all I have left is his tail, and I'm going to choose this tangle right here. I think that one will work really nice for his tail. So I'm doing curved line. I connect it to the point, and then I connect back to this point. Going to repeat that same basic curve. Looks like it needs one in the middle here. Another shorter one. And then another longer one, but this one I'm going to swoop it the other way. So now I'm going to come in here and connect these lines with these little moon shapes. And I like his tail being light. It just gives the impression that he's light as air, and it's easy for him to fly. And here I want to connect these ends. And then, seems to me that his beak needs to be a little darker. Draw attention to his face. So that's my process for doing the bird. Then of course the final touch, I'll have to turn this right side up for me. You always want to sign your work, either your name or your initials, whatever you choose, just little tiny there on the edge. So every book has 40 different tangles in it. And then here's another bird that I did to illustrate another book. So all the birds are a little bit different, but they all have similar processes. I just love the birds, and I love doing Zentangle, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.